Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have some fun projects. Well, I'm telling myself that they're fun, but I've actually been avoiding them. But today is the day to get them done because things are starting to put on a lot of growth and rather quickly. I mean, it feels like we're almost in summer weather. I know it's spring just really started for us here, but things are really picking up, especially because it's been sunny lately. So everything is like, I'm waking up. If you're gonna move me, now's the time. So we do have a tree to move. I want to move a container, a big container that Sergey and I planted together. And then we have some things to get in the ground today that I'm very excited about, just to, again, start getting all of the plants that we bought last season and the season before, get them in the ground so we can get everything kind of cleared up. So let me show you the tree that we're gonna be moving today. I think my stepdad might come out and help me. I asked him earlier and I don't know if he's busy, but I'm gonna see if he can come out and help me. Because digging up trees, it sounds fun and sounds like, oh, we're just gonna move a tree. But depending on if that tree has really rooted in, it might be a little bit more challenging. So it's always nice to have two people doing it. But I have moved smaller trees by myself before. Not a big deal, but it's always nice to have extra hands to help us out. So let's take a look at the area that we're going to be working in today, and then we will jump right in. We just did a video on the cut flower garden and the whole design of it. So I'm happy to get these beds cleared out and get them ready for the growing season here. But back here in this area of the garden is where we need to do some work. So we have this burgundy vine jewel maple that we planted here, oh gosh, I don't know, like 2-3 years ago. I can't recall anymore at this point. But anyways, it did okay here the first year. However, since it's starting to put on a little bit more growth, I don't know if it's just not liking it here at all, because it gets really crispy at the end of the season, and I think it's just getting way too much sun. So what we would like to do is move it. And when we planted it here, our neighbor had a tree, so it's kind of casting a little bit of a shade over here. But now, ever since they removed some of their bigger trees, we do get sun, full sun in this area of the garden pretty much all day. So I think what we'll do is we're going to dig this up. We are going to be moving this container here. This is Sergey's persimmon. We recently planted this together in a video. We're going to go ahead and move or shift this container over here. And then we need to figure out what we're going to be doing with this urn. This arb has been here, and this thing gets moved around all of the time. I bring it up for Christmas time to decorate in the front. I bring it to the back to put it back in these containers. But I do think we can come in and do something a little bit more interesting with this container. And we do have another one on the other side. So this one might shift. I'm open to ideas. I would love to just move this arb out of here. It is getting a little crispy too. I think it's just not really happy anymore, and I just think I just need to part ways with it. So open to ideas. I do have some thoughts about these containers, and we can move them around, but really what I really want to focus on today is moving this over and kind of see how this area is going to look once this container has been shifted over. And then here are some of the things that I'd like to get planted today. We have some sedum here. This is the Autumn Joy. And I love this sedum right here. It has beautiful summer interest, also really great fall interest. They hold on to their flower heads for a really long time. And let's see, this one grows 16 to 24 inches tall, 15 to 18 inches wide, and it's hardy down to zone 3. It requires sun to partial sun. So it's a really nice hardy sedum. And again, I love the flowers. It's probably a terrible picture here, but it just has just the most beautiful clusters of flowers, and they're really great to arrange with. And then we have this foxglove. This foxglove came from one of our beds when we were cleaning out. These self-seeded from 2 years ago, and they're still popping up everywhere. It's wild. So these I put in these containers, and then I think I want to go ahead and get them in the landscape because I do believe they are going to be blooming for us nicely this season. I also have a rhododendron in the front that I kind of want to get planted back here. So if we have time, I want to kind of walk around and think about where we would place it. I kind of want it by the shed. I think it would look really pretty there because it's starting to flower. and it's a really beautiful, beautiful color, and I really want to show it to you guys. So if we have time, we will go ahead and get that planted. If not, we will save that for another day. All right, let me go ahead and get some shovels and my gloves, and then let's see if my stepdad's going to come out, and then we will get started. You know, it's so funny because it's starting to warm up quite a bit, and I was so excited for the warm weather, but it got warm real quick. I think we're, gosh, in the low 70s. It's not too warm, but I just am trying to get some of these bigger things done on cooler days so our plants don't suffer too much when we're moving them. But I think it's going to be okay. Ideally, you would want to move this when they're dormant, but I have moved trees when they were leafed out and it did fine. You just want to make sure you keep it watered in really nicely. I will have to come in and sacrifice these little muscari. I thought about moving them, but honestly, I planted a few and they've really naturalized nicely here. So even if I get rid of them, I don't mind because we planted a whole bunch. So I'm okay with parting ways with them. I am going to harvest some of them though, because some of them haven't fully bloomed, and I wouldn't mind just having that in a little bud vase inside the kitchen. So anyways, again, ideally you would want to wait to do this until they're dormant, but if you are going to move a tree during like active growing, you just want to make sure you keep it watered. Obviously, when we plant it, we're going to be putting it in the side garden where I think it's going to get a little bit more protection. And then we'll just make sure to give it like really good fertilizer and compost to make sure it's nice and happy. This is just like when we moved the other vine maple from the front to the back, and it's doing really well. And that one we moved like late summer and it's popping out really nicely. So I just want to make sure it's going to be happier in its new home. I just love the look and the leaves on these. It's so pretty, but it's just so sad because again, at the end of summer, it's just so crispy and crunchy, and she's just not happy over here anymore. So anyways, I told my stepdad we were gonna move our magnolia. He's like, I was just joking though. Okay.
tentar levantar ela.
Pera aí. All right, I think I'm going to put the sedums right here. And that's gonna look nice. Maybe a little bit out like that. Yeah, let's get those planted right there. I like that we're planting these here because that's going to provide interest after the peonies and the irises are done blooming back here. So this is going to be a nice little addition to this space back here. You know, for not being in these containers for too long, after we dug them up, these grew extremely well. Like, I am very impressed with the roots on these. All right, you guys, I am so happy with the way this is looking. However, Sergey came out and he's like, well, I think the persimmon should come out a little bit more forward. So I want to sit. My tree. Do you hear him? He's like, it is my tree. Really? And it is my flowers in your container with your tree. Yeah. No. If I take care of it, it's mine. Anyways, he was saying, like, let's sit with it. But if you look at it, here, let me step back. Oh, tripped on the hose. Gosh, I really need to do something about this hose. It's, I'm at my last, what do you want to call it? My last level, running out of patience. I don't know what the saying is. Anyways, as I was saying, if you're sitting here on the deck, especially at like one of our rocking chairs all the way back here. It's kind of tucked away behind the Shishigashira maple here. So if we bring it up just even, oh gosh, I don't know, like a foot, maybe half a foot, it would make a difference. We went ahead and leveled everything. So I think we'll just need to bring the level back out, shift it over, and I think that actually might make a little bit more sense. However, in my mind, it's like, I want to leave this open because look at all of this real estate I have here to plant some things around. So that's kind of my thought process. We're going to sit with it for a couple of days, see how we like it. And that will really help us determine whether or not we need to move it. And if I just step this way, just look at how much better that looks. I love the way this turned out. I really do. The other option, if you're ever going to be putting a container in your landscape like this, I would not put it directly on the mulch like we have some of our other containers, like our urns, because it gets like plugged really quickly. It gets clogged really quickly. So just put in this flat stone here. You could also do gravel. You can get like a little bit of edging, create a circle, and then put gravel and then your container on top. That would also work. But this is a little bit elevated, and we will come in with the mulch and mulch around it so you're not going to see the stone very much. But we kind of jimmy rigged it because we put in a couple of stakes underneath so it wouldn't pinch. It wouldn't pinch the irrigation back here. We still need to plug this into our main line. But ideally what we would like to do, Sergey would like to do something a little bit more permanent, because it was just me and my stepdad. We were like, well, what should we do? And Sergey, of course, was like, no, we should have made a little ledge on the rock with a machine and all that business. But you know what? We didn't have time for that today. So we're just going to leave it as is, and then we'll come in and then fine tune it, especially if we end up moving it. But I love the way this turned out. The green urn we set right over here in front of one of our sweet pea trellises, and we're just going to leave it there temporarily until I decide what we're going to be doing with it. And as far as planting goes, we got the sedums in. This little one back there, I might need to replace that because I just think it didn't winter or overwinter well enough in those containers. And I'm not sure what happened, so I might need to replace that one. But I'll just leave it as is to see what happens. And then with the foxglove, I cannot remember the variety on the top of my head. I want to say it's Dalmatian something. I'm not sure. I'll look it up, but I do have a little video of it that I'll pop up on the screen for you guys to see it. I just tucked each one behind something because I want them to come up. And when you're walking by, you're going to see them kind of peeking up behind all of our plants. So I have one over here by a peony, one over here by a rose, and then the other one is right next to our iris back here. Because those will get tall, I think it's just going to add a little bit of a vertical interest in those spaces, and it's flowering. So it's a win-win to have those kind of tucked in throughout the garden. And ideally, what I would love to do actually is tuck in more foxgloves everywhere. So once we get more of our shrubs in, we're going to get a couple more trees kind of shifted around over here. I would like to come in and start adding more in throughout the garden because I do think they add such a fun and like cottagey look to any space. And of course, that vertical interest with the flowers, I think is just stunning. Chef's kiss all around. Love it. Anyways, I am so pleased that we got this done. I have been putting this off for way too long, and we just needed to get this tree moved. I think in the long run, it's going to be a lot happier in the side garden, and we're just going to leave it in that container for a bit. I do need to go out and try to find something a little bit wider because it's not fitting in. And I don't want to prune the roots any more than we already have. So I'm gonna go out tomorrow to the garden center, pick up another container for it, just temporarily, maybe for like a month, until we really start getting into planting in the side garden. I already have an idea of where it's going to go. I kind of sketched it into my design. So it's not going to be in a container for very long, but I would say maybe like a month or so. So I want to make sure it's nice and cozy and tucked into a container, and that way we can keep it watered really nicely. And that's the thing, if you are going to move a tree, if you're going to have a hole ready for it, that's even better. That would be the ideal situation, but we don't have the space ready for it. So we're just going to keep it in the container and it's going to be just fine. I've done this plenty of times without any issues with our trees. So I'm not worried about it at all. I think we're going to grill up here in just a little bit. So I'm going to skip planting the rhododendron today, and that will give me a little bit more time to decide where we're going to put it. But I do want to get it in the ground, especially because it's starting to flower and it looks so pretty. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. And other than that, I think that's it for today's projects. Again, so happy to get this done. I'm going to think about moving the persimmon just a little bit more forward. That way we can see it, you know, from the deck and through the window or in our kitchen, because it is a beautiful container and it's always going to have flowers in it. So I want to be able to have that view and not have it tucked in so far next to our pine and our magnolia. So anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today in my garden, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.